Hello and welcome to Capture. I'm Jessie Gomez. Last week, the university sent out an email to the student body announcing tuition, housing, and food changes for the coming school year. Many students were left with questions and concerns in regards to these latest amends. Capture's Savannah Cowles has a story.
On March 18th, students received an email from One Stop notifying the students that tuition would change to $34,174.
Every year the university is required to produce a balanced budget for the Board of Trustees, and I know that the Office of the President and the Budget Committee makes every effort to keep the cost of tuition as low as possible, and $1,700 was as low as they could keep it while covering the cost of bringing in outstanding faculty and providing the programming that they do at a specific university.
According to the letter from the president, not only would student undergraduate tuition change, there would also be a 2% food and housing increase. Alongside these changes, the president stated that there was now a side $1 million set to assist returning students.
I really don't understand the purpose of it. I mean, I know that tuition kind of all over California is increasing, but it would at least be nice to know exactly why it's raising so much right now.
The letter did not explain how students could apply to receive the money from the $1 million Student Support Grant or how it would be distributed.
The $1 million is allocated to the support grant. So students fill out an online application, and through that you can see there's a couple of minimum requirements for that. And basically, one of the main things we're looking for is it's more of a needs-based scholarship. So that application will ask a lot of questions. So this $1 million was a decision made to support students and to help them finance their education here at APU.
I'm definitely going to be thinking about it this summer because I am paying for school myself, so just trying to be better about saving this summer and realizing okay, I need to plan a little bit extra, and hopefully it won't affect student loans too much.
Those who have concerns or questions are encouraged to visit One Stop or contact their SGA rep to receive the proper assistance.
What we encourage students to do is to come into One Stop and talk to their student account specialist. They can talk about the APU Support Grant Fund, but also are there other funds available on campus.
And so if they are confused, if they are seeking additional information, and especially if it's for them in particular, their situation, that's why we're here. We're here to care for our students.
I encourage all students, if they have concerns about what's happening on campus, is to work with their SGA rep and make sure they voice their concerns. That's their student body to make sure that the administration and the leaders on campus understand what's happening on campus in regards to what they're worried about or what they're concerned about.
Thanks for that, Savannah. Also, next week, Capture has an exclusive interview with President Wallace, Vice President Bixby, and University CFO Bob Johansen. Send your questions using #APU Tuition Talk. And now let's head over to John Root for the Capture Sports Wrap-Up.
Thanks, Jesse. This past Saturday, APU held its 31st annual Night of Champions. This is a day where the community of Azusa is welcome to the APU campus to participate in a day full of entertainment and outdoor activities. APU baseball had a 4-game win streak going into Tuesday night's game versus Cal State Dominguez Hills. The Cougars went into the bottom of the 7th down 2, but after a solo bomb from Daniel Martin and an RBI single from Pablo O'Connor, the score was tied at 2 apiece. But Dominguez Hills would come roaring back with a 2-run top of the 9th that proved to be too much for the Cougars to come back from. In the end, APU would fall just short of the Toros, 4-3. APU men's tennis has enjoyed much success this season, but none more than junior Jan Meyer, who has recently been named the #1 singles player in NCAA Division II. Meyer currently holds a 16-1 record this season, with high hopes for his team's future and a victory in Saturday's match versus third-ranked UC San Diego.
We have a big upcoming match.
The team
on
led by
Saturday.
Meyer.
We're just deciding whether we are going to nationals or not. We have 2 or 3 good matches at the beginning of that tournament. We can go very far from there. They keep telling me that I'm a big factor for them. So it's an honor to play with those guys, and obviously it's an honor for me to be ranked #1.
The team led by Meyer currently holds the #2 ranking in the region and hopes to compete in the Pac-West tournament and make an impact in the NCAA tournament. Jesse, back to you.
Thanks, John. This week, the Center for Student Action hosted a week-long event to raise funds for their mission trips. Students sold various items on the Cougar Walk in hopes of raising money to put toward their trips. Mission Trip team leader Virginia Rogers hopes to raise awareness about CSA.
This is the Center for Student Action's thrift shop. also known as the CSA Marketplace, and we're here raising funds for all the action teams that are going to be going abroad over the summer. The money is helping to send individual members of each team over to wherever they're going. So like for me, I'm going to Japan with me and my team, and so each member from each team donated whatever they could collect to this fundraiser, and then we priced it individually, and then we are now selling it to get proceeds to put towards our mission trips.
APU's Enactus student-run organization is hosting an event called My Rescue the evening of April 10th to help raise funds and awareness for the restoration and self-empowerment of sex-trafficked victims. The leaders of My Rescue describe what this project is all about.
It's the girls that matter because these are lives and these are God's children, and we've been given the call to help restore God's children, and that's what we want people to see when they come to our show, and that's the important message that we want to give them, is that with just buying a ticket, you're helping give a girl a better opportunity in life, and you really are saving these lives because there's so many different factors within sex trafficking that these women go through that are deadly.
Go online to myrescue.squarespace.com to purchase your tickets. Proceeds from your purchase will be included in donations and give the opportunity to save a life. And now for U.S. and world news. Protesters at the Arkansas Capitol on Tuesday rallied against a new bill being described as a religious freedom law. Arkansas's version of the bill shadows that of Indiana, which has led to a national uproar. Critics say the laws of both states could be used by businesses to deny services to gay and lesbian couples. Arkansas's bill now waits upon State Governor Asa Hutchinson for approval. In Switzerland, foreign ministers have spent the past few days negotiating a political framework that will curb Iran's nuclear program. As a nuclear deal develops among the negotiators, the White House readies itself to create a sales pitch that would lead to congressional approval. Other nations, such as Israel, are adamantly against discussion, as Prime Minister Netanyahu explains.
The concessions offered to Iran in Lausanne would ensure a bad deal that would endanger Israel, the Middle East, and the peace of the world. Now is the time for the international community to insist on a better deal. A better deal would significantly roll back Iran's nuclear infrastructure. A better deal would link the eventual lifting of the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program to a change in Iran's behavior.
We just got a report from the New York Times saying that there will be a joint statement from the EU and Iran later today. With Lent coming to a close, Capture producers Copo Toribio and Melissa Quintero wanted to take a look at how students were holding up with their commitments.
I didn't necessarily give up anything for Lent, but I did take on solitude, which meant removing myself from social media in order to gain a closer relationship with God. And the way that I did that was that I had more time to pray without having those distractions.
I gave up alcohol for Lent. Reasoning behind it was I was kind of using it to suppress, I guess, emptiness I kind of felt in my spiritual life and things that I was just struggling with when I could have been spending time getting closer to God. And that was something that I neglected to do in my relationship with Him for a while. But this past 40-day Lent period has been really great for me to be able to reconnect with the Lord and no longer have to depend on outside influences.
I gave up social media for Lent, and it really helped me a lot because I felt that I was getting so distracted with my phone. I was always on my phone looking at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and it was really distracting me from God. So I decided to give it up, and since then I really realized that I really focus, like my relationship with God has gotten so much closer and I could focus so much more on Him. Going to chapel or whenever I'm just bored or lonely, I don't pick up my phone. I'd rather just talk to God, and it really helps me a lot.
That's all we have for today.
Please remember to like our page on Facebook and to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at APU Capture. And send your tuition questions using hashtag APU Tuition Talk.
Thank you for watching this edition of Capture.